All right, let's just jump right in. Think about it. We spend so much time teaching our kids to look both ways before crossing the street, right? But what about navigating the digital superhighway? Today, we're going to talk about why a privacy class might just be the single most important subject our kids aren't taking. So, take a look at this number, 60 million. That's not a city's population, no. That's how many student records were exposed in just one data breach. Let that sink in for a second. That's the scale of the risk we're dealing with here, and it points to a huge, gaping hole right in the middle of our education system. And that really brings us to the core question, doesn't it? We give our kids these super powerful devices, basically a key to the entire world in their pocket, but are we actually teaching them how to survive out there? I mean, never mind thrive, just survive. And honestly, the evidence is pretty clear that we're failing them on that front. Okay, so to really get a grip on what's at stake, you have to see what we're up against. It's like a battle being fought on two different fronts. On one side, you've got students facing these really personal, direct threats every single day. And on the other, the schools, the very institutions that are supposed to be protecting them, are basically under a constant digital attack. And look, this stuff isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot. This is what a kid deals with online, like every single day. They're trying to navigate this digital minefield of deepfake videos. You know, that crazy AI stuff that can make it look like you said or did something you never did. Then there's disinformation being spoon-fed to them by algorithms, and all these apps that are just sucking up their personal data. Without any real training, how are they supposed to even recognize these things, let alone fight back?
Now, what about the schools themselves? The scale of the problem is just staggering. We're not talking about a few isolated incidents. A whopping 82% of K-12 schools have been hit by a cyber incident in just the last 2 years. The digital front door hasn't just been unlocked. It's been kicked clean off its hinges. And it's not slowing down. It's actually getting worse and fast. That 23%, that's the jump in ransomware attacks against schools just in the first few months of 2025. You see, attackers know that schools are a perfect target. They often have weak security, and they're sitting on a goldmine of really sensitive data.
So you might be wondering, where do schools stack up against other targets? Well, it's pretty shocking, actually. The education sector is the fourth most targeted industry out there. The only things ahead of it are huge sectors like business, government, and healthcare. Our schools are on the front lines of a digital war, and frankly, they're being completely outgunned.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a lot. So what's the answer? Well, it's not as simple as just buying better firewalls. What we really need is a complete shift in how we think about education. We need to build a brand new, absolutely essential skill for every single student.
And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is this. It's time for driver's ed for the internet. I mean, think about it. We would never just toss a teenager the car keys without teaching them the rules of the road, right? Without showing them how to handle a dangerous situation. So why on earth are we doing exactly that with the internet?
And this isn't just some random idea I'm throwing out there. The experts are all saying the same thing. This brief from the Center for Strategic and International Studies really nails it. They say digital literacy isn't just about getting a job anymore. It's absolutely vital for creating societies that are safer, more secure, and more open for all of us.
So, what does this driver's ed for the internet actually look like? How do we take this big idea and turn it into something real, something you could actually teach in a classroom? Well, it all comes down to three main pillars of digital self-defense. First, you've got media literacy. This is all about teaching kids how to spot fake news, how to recognize when they're being manipulated by bias. Second, cybersecurity basics. You know, the simple stuff. The digital hygiene, like using strong passwords and knowing how to spot a phishing email a mile away. And third, and this is a big one, privacy and data rights.
helping them finally understand who has their data and, more importantly, how they can start to take back control of it. When you teach these skills, something really profound starts to happen. You start to build what the experts call societal resilience. And a great way to think about that is like a society's immune system. It's our collective ability to fight off and recover from big shocks, especially things like massive propaganda or disinformation campaigns.
And hey, this isn't just some academic theory. Finland has literally been doing this for years. Their national school curriculum actually teaches kids how to identify disinformation. And the result? Their entire society is now seen as one of the most resilient to foreign propaganda in the entire world. The bottom line is, it works.
So, the benefits of this kind of education, they don't just stop at the classroom door. We're not just making kids safer online. We're actually laying the groundwork for a stronger, smarter, and way more informed society as a whole. Okay, so let's break that down. For the individual kid, the benefits are super clear. They're way less likely to get scammed, they'll know how to protect their personal info, and they can even become the tech expert for their own family. But then, on the bigger societal level, the payoff is huge. You get a better trained workforce, a democracy that's way harder to mess with, and just a greater sense of trust in our communities.
So all of this really leads to one critical conclusion. This isn't just a nice to have. It's not some extra elective class we can squeeze in if there's time. This is a societal imperative. It's a race, and it's a race we absolutely cannot afford to lose.
Think of it like this. We are in a high-stakes arms race. On one side, you have digital threats that are getting more and more sophisticated every single day. And on the other, you have our ability to educate the next generation. And doing nothing, that's not a neutral choice. It's actively choosing to leave our kids and our whole society vulnerable. Education has to be our first line of defense. And really, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this incredibly powerful idea from Ontario's Privacy Commissioner. Every child, every single one, deserves the skills to navigate the digital world safely, responsibly, and with respect for their own and others' privacy. This shouldn't be an extra. It should be a fundamental right of their education.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. We teach math, we teach science, we teach history, all to prepare our kids for the world they're going to inherit. So in the 21st century, doesn't it just make sense that learning how to survive the internet should be a core subject too?